Hello, my name is Michael. I am graduated from California University. I love teaching. That's why I've been teaching in China since 2003. I was an ESL teacher in kindergarten, and then I became a lead teacher, and then I became co-principal, and then the principal. I have TESOL, and I have teaching certificates, and 2 IB certificates. When I started learning about IB, I understood that this is what I have to do and this is what I have to promote. IB's teaching philosophy is very different with any other teaching style. IB teaching is not like the traditional style of teaching that the students have to sit there in front of the teacher and then the teacher will teach them. For example, it's a cat, and then everybody says it's a cat. No, it's not like that. IB develops active approach to teaching and learning, works within global context, helping the students understand different languages and cultures, developing understanding that meets rigorous international standards. IB will let the students learn by themselves, and the teacher's job is to lead the students to the goal of the class.
I realize how much more they learn. And when I see that they take action and they're applying the skills that they learn in here, I feel like I've done my job as a teacher. At your service. All right. We as humans all question. That's how we learn. So the students should be questioning all the time.
Any questions?
We're trying to ignite passion and relevance. It's not just about finishing that assignment. It's about being able to explore something that I'm really interested in.
IB's aim to transform the school and the students as they learn through dynamic learning cycle. IB program aims to help students explore and construct their own personality and culture identities. That helps the student to be a lifelong learners and a better person in the society. Back in 2003, when I started working in China, the education system in China was still in a very traditional style. And then China started to make a reform in their curriculum, and they made it really big because they planned for several years later what they wanted to achieve. They wanted to be more international and have their students to be able to communicate with other nations, to be able to learn from different cultures, to be able to learn different science. Well, of course, for example, at that time, China was not that developed, but now, as you see, they are very developed. How that happened exactly? Of course, through the education, through learning languages, through learning cultures. How could they communicate with other, let's say, scientists, with different universities, different schools, or learn from them? How? Of course, through the education, through the language learning. So, they put the focus on early childhood education. They trained the new generation. They taught them to be able to speak different languages, not only Chinese, not only English, but Spanish, but French, but different languages.
I'm gonna go to sleep now. Sweet dream. Good night. I love you.
Why? Because they wanted to be at where they are now. So not only they trained the students, but they trained the parents. They told the parents that it's very important for your kids to learn languages from a foreign teacher, from an educated Chinese teacher. They already set their mindset that they have to learn, they have to have the new generation to learn more languages. So that's what they did exactly. And it was so interesting for me how they transformed everything, how they made this reform happen in their society. And when I look back to Russia, I see that there is a huge potential here. The students are very smart, kids are very smart, and parents really want them to learn. But what I see is that they're still in that traditional way, and they're still learning through the very old system, while the education system is not like before. The teaching system is not like before. Everything is changed. Unfortunately, a lot of teachers, they don't know that. They're not trained. They don't know how to teach. They don't know how to involve the students in learning cycle. So I decided to change that. I decided to do all I can to bring the new system to Russia and then introduce it to the parents. Tell the parents that this is what you have to do. This is very important for your kids to learn languages through the new system, not through the traditional system. This is very important. If you want your kids to have a good future, doesn't matter if they stay in Russia, if they stay and study in a Russian public school, or they go abroad. They still need to learn something from the main source. And the main source might not be only a Russian language source. They have to learn from English sources. How are they going to learn that? Are they going to learn English when they are grown up already? When their brain is not ready to learn anything anymore? That's too late. Our brain neurons are not connected when we are in a very young age. For example, 2 years old, 3 years old. Once we learn something at that time, our neurons will get connected.
What do we know about the inner workings of the human mind? Surely everything that humans do, from designing skyscrapers to composing symphonies, is not the product of simple cellular interactions. And yet it might be. Because everything that humans do, or think, or feel, is a result of these basic units of brain structure, the neurons. The human brain contains more than 100 billion neurons. Just like a single ant could never build an anthill, a single neuron can't think or feel or remember. A neuron's power is a result of its connections to other neurons. Each neuron is connected to as many as 1,000 of its neighbors.
When we learn languages, when we learn science, when we learn arts, different skills we developed, our motor skills developed, the neurons will get connected, and that's how our brain will shape. Imagine that you have a sponge, a block of sponge, and you can cut it off and shape it the way you want. You can make it a circle, you can make it a triangle, you can make it a square. Our brain is just like that. Why shouldn't we shape our children's brain? Why shouldn't we teach them something that they can learn easier when they are still in a young age, and they can use those skills later on when they grown up? Why shouldn't we do that? We are the parents. We should be responsible. How can we do that? We need to teach our kids to learn a lot of different skills. Learning languages is the most important part of those skills that they have to learn. Learning science, learning arts, music. These are very important for the kids to learn when they are a child. It's very easy for them to learn, for example, when they are 4 years old, 3 years old, 5, 6 years old, than 16, 20 years old. Right? Why shouldn't we teach them? Why shouldn't we help them to learn things easier than harder and more difficult when they grown up? Who can do that? Us, teachers. You, parents. You yourself, your students. You can help yourself. You can learn. You can learn new learning styles. You can learn about IBs. You can go to ibo.org. This one. Go and learn. See how they teach. We can do it. Teachers can do it. We train them. My job is to train teachers. My job is to train students. My job is to deliver the content in a very easy way to have the students to learn as easy as possible, as much as possible. So I strongly suggest you to have your teacher to go and learn how should he or she teaches you through the new, innovative, inquiry-based IB style. Help yourself and help your country and make Russia great. Start from yourself.